Morning, everybody. You're welcome to the first edition of the week of the Daily Digest with Jimi Disu. Right, of course, my name is Jimi Disu. It hasn't changed. The only woman they changed. Congratulations to Davido. His wedding comes up today somewhere in, I know where it is, but I won't tell you. I don't want everybody to go and rush there and turn the thing into a carnival, But he's getting married today in Victoria Land, and I wish him all the best. And to the lucky lady, Chioma, I wish her all the best. This week, I can tell you now that on Saturday, we are going to have Mr. Candy Johnson, SAN. We're going to have him in to look at the legal side of what's going on in Kano. Okay? And tomorrow, those of you who are used to Wazobia, there's a gentleman called Ochuko. Ojugo will be here tomorrow with me for Diabumi. We're going to have a man for a change. We're going to have a man for a change on Wednesday tomorrow. Today we are supposed to look at the issue of the plane that the president wants to buy. Is it plane or planes, Sheriff? I think it's planes. I think they're buying.
I think it's
they're buying 2 or 3. Some rumor mongers, some rumors have said that the planes have actually been bought, and all kinds of arguments have come out. So I decided to bring in 2 experts today. They're somewhere in Victoria Land. They should be here any minute from now. There is Olumide, our favorite, the one I call the aviation consultant, is a member of the aviation roundtable. And there's Captain Alex. Captain Alex is also, we expect him any minute from now. For us to look at the situation, to analyze it professionally and take the politics out of it. I want to repeat what I said. I'm inclined to believe that this current government, the Emilio that you think is much further than that. That philosophy is much further than that, in the sense that it's like it is our turn, whatever the situation of the country is, whatever we need to do to make our lives comfortable, we will jolly well do it. The two gentlemen are here now. Captain Alex is here. Please come right in. And Olumide too should be here in a minute from now. Please sit down there. Yes, I know. Please sit down there. So we'll let you relax a bit. So my thinking is that is the philosophy that whatever needs to be done to make our lives comfortable, we will do it. That in spite of the current situation of the economy and the travels we are going through, these planes will be bought. Good morning, Captain Alex. How are you? Sorry, you have to talk into the mic. Okay. You have to talk. I hope your phone is not there. I have to seize it. Don't worry, I won't read your
It's off.
I won't read your WhatsApp messages. I don't. Okay, so let's calm down. If for any reason I put Thursday aside as a spare day, if for any reason we don't get to a reasonable conclusion, we might even do it. Oh, you live in the neighborhood, so we can always drag you in. I think it's important that people know your background so that they will know who is talking about this. You're a pilot, commercial pilot.
No, I'm not a commercial pilot. Good morning. I'm a private pilot, but I'm also I'm the president of the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association of Nigeria. So
that's good. So
all the
owners,
people that own airplanes in general aviation, essentially.
Yes.
Basically, in that regard, I'm also the second vice president of the Aviation Roundtable, which is the non-NGO that focuses on aviation safety, as well as dealing with all of these governmental issues around aviation.
Okay. So that settles it. So generally you are well, about when to buy the aircraft, at what point do you need to change, some of the technicalities.
All of them, actually.
Morning, Olumide, how are you?
I'm fine.
Olumide is our in-house. We have labeled him Nigeria Info Aviation. How are you, Olumide?
I'm fine. Good morning, then.
Yeah, very good. He's also of the aviation.
Apologies with the rain, traffic.
Yeah, the rain, yes.
And the captain himself.
I heard you still at the tower around you at 9:15.
No, actually,
We are live radio.
due to technical difficulties, we were not able to commence our trip to this station. And then, weather is always a condition in aviation, so
I know.
it is responsible for a significant amount of delays. And so
No,
those raindrops were keeping us from waking up early on time this morning, even though I'm only 2 minutes away.
When this happens usually when you have a young wife.
You've been doing some homework.
All right, so let's start with you, Kapi. What is the lifespan of an aircraft?
Very beautiful question to start with.
Yes.
Airplanes generally have no lifespan. There are airplanes flying around that are 100 years old. It's a question
You're
of...
kidding me?
Yes, there are airplanes, and today you can go on tours on the earliest aircrafts from the 1910s and 1920s. And so airplanes really have no lifespan. It's a function of several things. And the key one of them is maintenance. How well are you maintaining the airplane? So if you're doing a good job of maintaining the airplanes, they'll last forever. What we have is in commercial aviation, we have what are called additional factors. So due to corrosion, you have life limits of parts. So
Yes.
many parts have life limits, and so all you have to, like the engines as well, they have a maximum number of hours. But what you're expected to do is change the components whose parts have expired either by calendar, which is a number of years, or by time based on their use of those airplanes. And so one of the interesting things that happens also in this sector is you find a lot of commercial operators using the wrong aircraft for the wrong type of operation. So you have an airplane like a 777 that should be doing long haul, doing Lagos, Abuja. And so what that does is reduce the lifetime of the components like the landing gear, because every 1 hour it's going up, coming down as well. And so there are many, many factors. But basically, airplanes have no life limit.
They have no life limit. Which is more important in determining the viability of a plane in terms of before you actually do the actual checks? Is it the hours or the age?
Age, like I said, doesn't matter. And unfortunately for man, that becomes a differential product. This is a mechanical device. So it is the maintenance of the aircraft that determines its viability. And so if we're using it well, and a presidential aircraft is not used like an airliner, an airliner every morning, you try to do it 20 hours, but given the airport factors in Nigeria, the technical factors in Nigeria, you end up using them 8 hours, and that's even too much. Some are used 4 hours. Something like the presidential aircraft, for example, because that's our key focus, is used maybe once a week. The president is busy. He has a number of airplanes, so he'll use the baby J, the big one, to go long distance. He'll use the smaller ones to come to Lagos or Abuja, etc. So if you look at it in relative terms, the presidential fleet is considered the baby, but it has to be taken care of. And we can't say it wasn't taken care of, because when you hear the bills for maintenance, you can be certain that it's getting the gold treatment.
Okay, so hold on a minute. If you the number of hours that a presidential plane will clock certainly is not the same as Arik or any of those planes will clock, and so I'm beginning to wonder: are aircraft are they rekitted or refigured for shorter periods or longer periods, or if you are buying a 777, for example, it's a 777 that you bought, whether you use it for 1 hour or use it for 1 year, is that how it works?
No, good morning once again.
Yes.
You see, aircraft are built for specific duration. Now, you can alter yours by buying maybe a bigger engine or have an extra fuel tank. It depends on you. Then you can do some rekitting if you are going to operate this kind of aircraft into a noise level country. Then again, the internal structure, that's what is most important for the presidential jet anyway. They configured in the internal structure. They are not really bothered about the engines and the external things. Those are left for the scheduled operators. But for the presidential jet, most important for them is how to configure the interior of the aircraft to be befitting and good enough for the president for his long haul and short haul. But unlike Alex said, I think I find it very difficult to understand why a 13-year-old aircraft, a 19-year-old aircraft that does not fly every day, that is not a scheduled aircraft, will just become completely unserviceable, and what you want to think about is how to throw it away. If the presidential jet in the US is about 30 years old,
34,
and it's still flying, and in some other countries, why would a jet bought 13 years ago fly? And again, looking at the report that came out over the weekend, I was happy we pushed this program today. In the last 11 months, about 14 billion had been expended on maintenance, and the whole 8 years of President Buhari, about 6 or 7 billion was spent on the maintenance of the same fleet. Though we are disappointed that this was a man who came in during, yes, check the dailies. This was a man who came in with a promise to sell, to dispose of the presidential fleet. That was the PNB. He said he was going to dispose of it with safe cost for the country. But on getting in, and maybe when he sat inside and saw the beauty of the aircraft, he refused to. You see, and again, this aircraft, when you sit there in the presidential fleet, do they only operate the presidential flight? Because these are aircraft we have seen their children, relations take pictures with when they're going for wedding in Kano, when they're going for party in Durban, when they're going for party in Akure, or going for polo somewhere, you know. So there's been abuse. But for me, I even if we need a new aircraft, they need to justify the expenses and the maintenance system and program in place. Because if the ones that you have in place can make 13 and 19-year-old aircraft that are not used optimally to become unserviceable, what will happen to the new one that you're bringing? And it's irritating to see Bayoniga comparing the death of the Iranian president, the death of the Malawian president. If you look at those two incidents, it was not the aircraft that had issues. It was weather.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't.
It was weather.
No,
it was weather.
Well, you know that's propaganda. I think what you should also find more intriguing, and I'd like to be corrected here, is the fact that we are not just buying one. I think we're buying three. Two. Why are we buying two? Do you know?
Well, you have to have one aircraft for the president,
yes,
and you have to have one aircraft for the vice president, and occasionally
so
the Senate president.
Two aircrafts are bad, or we just feel like as we built a house for the vice president, a new house, it should have, it should be equally yoked.
No, I think, and it doesn't really center around aviation. I think there's an attitude in government that when you come to the office, you change the cars, you change the house, you change the airplane, you change, you maybe add an additional wife if it's allowed. All of these seem to be the rights of government, the process by which we transition from one government to the other. Olu raised an important question. I already made an important comment. The presidential airplane is 13 years old. The commercial aircrafts we see in Nigeria are over 20 years old, and they flog those things worse than Kabu Kabu. And they are not putting any of us in danger, unless we don't know the facts. But we in aviation clearly know that aviation is the safest means of travel. If you look at the last 20 years, the aggregate number of people that have died, it is not equal to the number of people that die on a daily basis on the road. So aviation is safe. And to come up with such ingenious comments as the death of X and Y and so on, I lost my sister in an aircraft accident this year. Okay, in California, the very famous incident we're all very familiar with. That is supposed to be weather related. It wasn't about the airplane. They flew their own business jet to the destination, took another airplane and flew into bad weather. So accidents more often, if we see the recent accidents in Nigeria, sliding off the runway, sliding into the bush, all weather related, So if we want the president to be safe, he must never fly when it's raining, And that's the safety issue here, not the aircraft itself.
Well, you gentlemen in the industry, do you actually have a technical report that justifies this purchase?
I think this was my first question. That the Senate Committee on Security, what was used, what document as a basis for approving two aircrafts for the presidency? What document did this? Who submitted? What document did they have with them? That they were so convinced that the presidency needed two aircrafts. Again, I do not think we should be talking about Mr. President's aircraft, Vice President aircraft, and they have about 6 aircrafts in the fleet of the presidency. And I want to see that president. We should not. Yes, we can. Yes, we want to model America, but we don't have the funds like America. So if Mr. President is not flying today, can't the Vice President use the aircraft? These are not vehicles. These are aircraft and they're expensive materials. Now we are going through a lot in the economy. We have seen that in 11 months you have spent about 14 billion, and now you're budgeting another round of billions to get an aircraft. Why is that a priority? Again,
why do you want rounds of billions? How come we don't have a figure? How come there's no figure?
I think
again.
Yes.
Except we are buying a Tokumba aircraft again. If you're going to buy a brand new aircraft, another BBJ, you are going to wait for about 6 or 7 years.
Correct.
If I'm correct. So what is by that time he's out of office?
But what I heard is that an Airbus has been bought. That's what's making the round.
We also heard that aircraft have been bought.
I didn't hear that, but it's
you didn't hear that?
It's not unusual.
How come I heard that you didn't hear?
Because it's not because one of the things I don't do, which I've over the years been talking on radio and television,
yes,
is to say what I have no facts about. So hearsay to me is really not relevant.
But
we know one thing: government does not propose to buy something it hasn't already bought.
1 second though. We haven't had a rebuttal. It's right there. It's right there in the federal government spent 14 points. Oh, that was even in the Punch. Okay, thank you very much. Nobody has come out. We haven't heard Bayo and Onoga, for example, to come and say we haven't bought any Airbus.
Okay, there are two issues here. One.
Yes.
Who budgeted for this aircraft? What budget is it on? There is a aviation ministry budget, or maybe it's a national security budget. And so when you ask the question, what is the state of the presidential aircraft? It's not easy to determine that because the president's aircraft is a national security asset under the military. So we can't know for certain what they are doing. Maybe they put some gold seats in the airplane that justifies 14 billion. But we also have to be cautious. Inflation has tripled the naira. So what cost 6 billion last year will cost 18 billion under this administration because of the way we have essentially mismanaged our foreign exchange regime. So maybe we should look at the dollar numbers. That seems to be the only constant. As to whether he's bought an airplane or not, I do not know. But yes, we all agree. Everybody agrees that the president must be safe. And that safety can be achieved by the kind of monies we spend on maintenance, not on a brand new airplane. But if the president has bought a new airplane, really, what say do we have? We can have all these discussions about this and that. Nigerians have essentially lost control of the operations of governance. We are barely passengers in this airplane we're talking about. And so any destination it chooses is where it's going to go. It chooses to take off. You know, you hear about those funny incidents. You get on the plane going from Abuja to Lagos and end up in Enugu. Maybe that's one of the things we are currently seeing in this situation.
I think
Alex, a point of correction. I think it's the maintenance in the last 11 months that comes to 14 billion naira.
Oh, the last 11 months.
11 months.
Which adjusts by dollar by a third. So you would say what it would have been. A third of that is what it would have been spent on about a year ago.
But in the 8 years of PMB, it was about 6 billion naira that was spent on maintenance.
Right.
Of those same aircraft. For 8 years.
Right.
But in the last 11 months, 14 billion was spent. And for the aircraft that they want to buy, $623.4 million.
Brand new aircraft, it sounds like at the very top of the market. But you know, the truth is that government buys hammers.
918 billion.
Gentlemen,
naira.
What did you just say now about 600 and something?
$million.
Yes, about that range. Yes,
to be about that range.
Yes,
600 million.
Yes, or above. That's about 918 billion naira.
Don't forget, is that the basic aircraft, or when you've configured it? We don't know whether it's configured.
That is there is no Airbus in the category of a presidential aircraft unless we have bought the ultimate 787 or 777. Sorry,
don't they have
the
a business
Airbus
jet?
A380 configured in the presidential fleet.
Don't they have a business jet? Yeah, I think they have a business jet.
Yes, they have a business. They have the Airbus business jet, but it is not 600 million.
How much is
But the reality of it is this: the reality of it, which is the point I was trying to make.
Yes.
You and I buy hammers for 3 million, for 3,000 naira. The same hammer bought by the government is 3 million. So we must look at it in that light. Okay?
We have to take a short break and then we'll be right back.
More talk, news, and sports after this.
Tell me screen that your phone has tried. Time to switch up your game with the new laptop. You promised you'd start your content creation journey this year, didn't you? Time to level up with Strix Technologies, your gateway to fine selection of mobile devices, smartware, and home tech. At Strix, we empower everyone with the possibilities of technology, from laptops to iPads to gadgets and games. You name it, we have quality reserved for you at affordable prices. So what are you waiting for? Shop online at www.strix.com.ng or drop by our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Enugu. You can also check us out at Strix_NG on social media or call 0802 759 0350 for your favorite devices at the snap of your fingers. Empower your tomorrow today by discovering the Strix difference. Think Strix, where innovation meets your lifestyle.
Wow, Folake, this your new office space looks really nice. Oh, just take a look at this furniture.
Thank you.
Anyway, that's not why I came. Your daughter's wedding was fantastic. Folake, who gave you all this money now? See souvenirs everywhere, courtesy of the bride's mother.
It is not who, it is what.
The AXA endowment policy gives you the benefits of target savings and life insurance in one plan. Call 0700 AXA Mansard or visit axamansard.com to get started. Terms and conditions apply.
Everyone says I'm beautiful and bold. They say I'm fashionable, and to crown it up, very confident. And my secret is...
People say I'm good looking, funny, hardworking, and to crown it up, very confident. And my secret is...
So whether in the office or at home,
in the streets or on the dance floor,
anytime, any day, I never lose my confidence. And the secret to my confidence is Wazobia perfume.
Absolutely. Wazobia perfume gives the authenticity and long-lasting fragrance all day. That's my secret confidence.
Wazobia perfume is available in body spray.
Also available in supermarkets and markets near you.
You can also get it on Jumia.
Wazobia perfume, the correct scent.
Enjoy the delicious creamy goodness of Cowbell. Cowbell contains Vitarich and vitamin B9, which supports brain development. Use Cowbell in your tea, cereal, pap, and other meals of choice. Cowbell, so creamy, so good.
5 Alive Poppy. So much pulp, so many ways to pop it. He gulps it. She chews it. He slurps it. Feel the pulp in every gulp. Everyone pops it their way. So, how do you pop it?
He done of trading himself. James, hello.
Susan, I beg. Say you the wine me.
For where? You who no longer depend solely on your salary.
So you people trade and don't carry us along in this office, Abby?
Jerry, now you they talk like this. Who doesn't want an extra stream of income? But I'm still looking for better trading conditions, I beg. Fast execution of my trades and possibly an account where swap no go carry all my profits where I don't know.
Guy, hfm.com.
For me, I wouldn't mind better spreads at all, and it won't be a bad idea to be able to make withdrawals in a flash.
All we want is transparency and great customer service.
Guys, I said hfm.com.
Which one is hfm.com again?
Switch to HFM today to enjoy ultra-fast execution, 1 to 2,000 leverage, tight spreads, swap-free, and more.
Guy, show us the way now.
Wait, are you sure deposits and withdrawals are sharp?
I said
hfm.com.
Visit www.hfm.com. HFM, online trading at its finest.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
You're listening to Jimi Disu right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
You're welcome back to the Daily Digest with Jimi Disu, and we're looking at the plane, the aircrafts that the president, I don't know whether we should call intends to or has already purchased. I have Captain Alex here, and I also have Olumide, in-house consultant on aviation matters, but I think I brought the wrong people. I should have brought the financial people because, like Captain Alex said, it's not a technical issue really. There doesn't seem to be a real technical need for a new aircraft, and I'm aligned with that kind of argument. I don't think there's a real need. But Captain Alex, do we have any information about what is happening to the current ones that we have? Because it is said that the president's recent trip, he went in the private jet of one of his friends. Why didn't he use his own jet? I don't know, but he went to one of his friends, Whether it was paid for, I honestly don't know. That's neither here nor there. So what do you think would be happening to the current ones now?
It helps to know what the Kenyan president said recently when he was accused of spending too much money on flying to the US. He said, my friends paid for it, so expect that. When you say he went on one of the aircrafts of the friend. Okay. When you talk about pricing, you talk about the economics of it. The presidential aircraft is a national security asset, so we're never going to know how much they spend on anything. They're not going to reveal the accounts. Even NMPC, that is a public corporation, we don't see the accounts. Let's more so when you talk about a national security asset that is not open to public viewing, etc. So we're never going to know that.
So we don't know what's happening to the. Are they going to be scrapped? Are they going to be sold? Are they going to be kept in reserve?
There are some comments. There are some comments on answering that question. There are some comments released by the government that they plan to sell 2 of those airplanes. They've advertised the name of the firm that they've placed the aircraft for sale with.
Are you kidding?
We don't know what the details of the pricing is. I'm sure that if we contacted those companies, they'll be able to give us some ideas.
So it's in the market as we speak.
So the two airplanes are on the market. That's what's reported. And so it is said that they will be used to fund the new aircraft. But I find it hard to imagine what kind of value you get for a devalued aircraft when you say that it's a scrap that breaks down on the ground or takes the president somewhere and doesn't bring him back. And so maybe it will be sold for a few pennies, and those pennies will be added to the billions required to buy the new aircraft.
Can we
that's my greatest fear, because when you want to sell something and you've already devalued that aircraft,
you've demarketed
it. What you are practically saying is that we are just selling it as scrap. And this has happened. This is not the first time. You remember when Okorocha went after one of the presidential jets during OBJ's time, and all that went through, all the buhar that went through, and at the end of the day, there was this back and forth. Even those who were started with the process of selling the aircraft had to back out when the powers that be did not allow the process to go through. Again, we have 2 helicopters that were left with INCAT, for them to work to train students on. Those 2 aircrafts were sold by the last minister when it was the minister. They sold those 2 aircraft below the cost of aircraft that did not fly, that were just kept in the school for a long time. Now they sold those 2 aircraft, and before we did, those 2 aircraft are out of the country, created out of the country, without going to due process of selling it. And now today they are investigating it. I just hope we will not find another government coming in investigating these aircraft that they are putting for sale.
Well, what my gut, being a conspiracy theorist, I had to admit that aircraft is going to be sold to a friend.
Well, that's why you devalue the assets.
Yes, you devalue the assets. Then most likely you will find what that friend will do. He won't buy it in Nigeria. We know the way these things work. He will use a foreign front. It will be bought somewhere, maybe in the Philippines with a Filipino license, and then find
they are listed for sale in the US.
I'm fine.
For sale in the US.
Yes, correct.
I'll find his way back into Nigeria.
If it's in the US, is a friend that will most likely buy it. Sheriff, are you by any chance that friend?
No, I'm not.
If you show up with any aircraft, that will
selling me, self. I don't know.
You got my aircraft.
But I think that generally it's a sad state of affairs. The way we fritter our money away to pilgrims, 90 billion, to some road that is not really urgent, and so on and so forth. What also bothers me is the conspiracy of a political elite who, as usual, would nod their heads. There is something that Akpabio is said to have said Since I haven't seen the video where he actually said it, but he hasn't denied it either. Something to the effect that whatever happens, they're going to keep the issue of safety. Stop insulting Nigerians with that. Nobody. If the president if you are worried about the president going on a 20-year-old aircraft, what about the citizens? Aren't they human beings? Why aren't you worried about that? But that's the story for another day. We are going to open up our lines 0201 277 0993.
Yeah, I saw that.
0201 277 1993, 0201 277 2993, and 0201 277 3993. Yes. You want to say something?
Yeah, I saw that comment, and I hope it did not come out of his
You
mouth.
mean that from Akpabio?
Akpabio, I hope it doesn't come
Well,
out.
he's a loose cannon.
Yes, in
He's a
the
loose
past.
cannon. He'll say
what money cannot do, more money will
yes.
do it.
Let's just leave him out of the discussion.
Discussions for today.
Yes, so that we don't spoil our morning. Let's have this. Hello, good morning.
Good, Jimmy.
Morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Speaking to your guest.
Yes.
Good morning. It's so unfortunate we have leaders. This is Remy, by the way.
Yes.
We have leaders that lack empathy, and they don't hide it.
Yes.
They rub it in our faces, and they kill us.
Yes.
Do what you want to do. That is the mindset. We'll do what we want to do. In this time and age, they're telling us if they increase minimum wage, it's going to cause inflation.
Yes.
They are busy wasting our money and telling us it's needed. But when it comes to minimum wage or anything people-driven, it is inflation. It is cause inflation. Just as said in the morning, by now I thought the government should be pushing Operation Good Pipe and Water for the people. But they are busy blaming Zobo and Tiger Nut for the cholera. Do you know how often people treat typhoid on daily basis? Because we don't have data. People treat cholera on daily basis because we don't have data to back it up.
Okay. Thank you very much. I have this from Martin Zaloloda. It says, I'm listening to your program on presidential planes. Note, the idea of two aircrafts, one for president and one for the vice president, isn't logical. The idea of the presidency I have covered for 36 years is this. We always know about presidential fleet of aircraft. Even the Senate president, the speaker, and the Chief Justice has to use any from the fleet from time to time. There is one presidency, note that. So, but I'm sure there will be one aircraft that is designated specially for the president. Isn't that the way it works?
Yes. You see, if you notice that when Alex said, Mr. President, they're buying one for Mr. President, one for the Vice President, I said, look, we cannot at every point emulate America. We have problem. Like we need that scarce dollars. So there's one presidency. And if Mr. President is not using the aircraft, the Vice President can also use the aircraft. And it's not even compulsory for the Vice President to use a presidential jet. He can fly public travel. The British Prime Minister flies on BA. So why can't
let me clarify that fact.
But
now.
I'm seriously against buying two aircraft.
One second. I need to clarify this fact from the two of you. Because I'm not too sure. Does the United Kingdom have a presidential jet?
The Queen has an aircraft.
Oh, okay, but I've seen her on BA Charter before.
Of course, that's also can be used. The Queen, you can use any airplane at your option, but the Queen does have an aircraft of her own. Yes.
That's the Queen.
The Queen, yes.
That's the Queen of England.
Now,
the Queen, not the Prime Minister?
And I think in terms of governance, yes.
Before I lose track, the aircraft of the Queen, does it belong to the royal family or to the government of the United Kingdom? If you are not sure, say you are not sure.
No. It's normally the assets of the Queen are the assets of the Queen. The state may pay some charges for official duty. So the Queen's assets are the Queen's assets. We must be clear about it. But we see Nigeria does not have a king. And so our king is the president. And so we are not doubting the fact that the president, given the importance of Nigeria geopolitically, a regional African power that has to attend international conferences and be visitors to G7 and Asia Pacific Basin and to attend United Nations, we're not doubting the fact that the president needs to have an aircraft. There's no question about that. he should have an airport. He should have a quality aircraft. He should have a befitting aircraft for the status of Nigeria. He should have something appropriate. The question is, do we need to throw the one we have away in these economic times? It's not about aircraft. It's about the economic times that we find ourselves. Is this the appropriate time, given the impact? You see, great soldiers and great leaders have been shown to lead by example. In the olden days, you saw the general in the front of the battle on the first horse charging the enemy. He didn't sit in the office reading a magazine, but what we have in Nigeria is you have generals that sit in the barracks while the soldiers go to war without bullets. They have no bullets because we can't afford to buy bullets. And what the generals does is sit in the house, gather the wives of the soldiers, gathers the chicken, roasts them, and has a meal at the expense of the soldiers while they're out in the field without bullets. So the president needs an aircraft, but we have to be empathetic, as your last speaker said, which is to mind our resources in very scarce times when Nigerians are told to tighten their belts. That's the real issue.
Yes. Okay, the analogy of the generals I don't think is completely right. We do have some, I like to be fair to them.
Right.
We do have some generals who are there
absolutely
out front where the action is. So I just like to weigh that in. I have this call. I think it's from outside the country. Who's calling? Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Uncle Jimmy.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Irabu Chikano.
Yes.
Before I continue, I need to pour in comments on you. According to Nigerian Palace, you be Odebu.
I'll add it to my name. Thank you.
Yes, because your rationality, your patriotism, I would say, are second to none.
Thank you.
You are giving us hope that there is hope in Nigeria.
Thank you.
Though personally, I believe that even Nigeria, if it continues to be the way it is in the next 200 years, we are not going to make any step. Yes. Having said that, you can see the type of leadership. For me, I don't call them leaders. I call them so-called leaders because this is not leadership. Leadership, it's there to encourage the people, there to make, just like you are doing. You are a leader. That is what you are doing is leadership. What Nigerian so-called politicians are there for their personal aggrandizement. They don't care about the development of the community. They don't care about the society. But one funny thing that gets me very pained is that they come to abroad. I'm staying in England.
Yeah.
They come here. They go to United States of America and see good things. Yet they find it difficult to replicate it in Nigeria so that our people will be able to see good things. It's very unfortunate. But another thing is, in 2027, Nigerians, these hungry people now, will still queue up under the sun or in the rain to vote for these people. Is it not mind-boggling? There's a problem in that society. They should be.
Thank you. Usually we give a minute
to the orientation.
Okay, thank you very much. Your point is noted. Let me put it on record that as much as we vilify our political leaders, we did have a leader who set a very good example at that time. And I think it was called Operation not Feed the Nation. There was another phase for it where Obasanjo dropped his Mercedes car and picked up a 504 as his official vehicle. You remember? His official vehicle was a 504. Then it was called Operation something, whatever it is. And he brought everything down. Everybody laid an example of wanting to save costs left, right, and center. In fact, it got to a point.
I think he even complimented it with wearing this
Adire. Yes. And he served only palm wine at the State House functions. To show the problem I have with Nigerians is a lot of us have things mixed up. You are a developing country, you're owing so much, you go to your creditor in the latest limousine. Because anytime there's an international conference, United, whatever, it's the Nigerian delegation that comes with the most expensive luxury cars. And yet you come back, you go there, you are owing, you now go begging for relief and so on. These guys look at you and just laugh, these guys are not serious yet. This idea that, that our political class have, that dictates that whatever it is, we must show, is something that is going to ruin this country. it is going to ruin this country. You're talking about the jets. The simple one of 160 million. Remember, this 160 million was before the current devaluation. Those vehicles then that were 160 million now will probably be costing about 280, if not 300. Yet you bought for every member, in spite of our economic situation. Okay, it's the Daily Digest with Jimi Disu. I think we can pick a few more calls. Look, the lines are.
Yeah, good morning, Kofi.
Morning.
Sorry.
Kofi has gone.
Mr. Jimi Disu, I greet you.
Yes.
And your guest.
Yes.
My name is Rapushu.
Yes.
Okay. You see, some of these our politicians, the way they are dining and whining with our billions and trillions, they forget certain things easily. They are not concerns of the citizens. Why moving for the private presidential jet for now? What of other issues that are supposed to be addressed? Manufacturing companies are shutting down, many of them. People are losing their jobs. Importers are no more important due to taxes, high taxes, and the import duties. So many things supposed to be addressed. People are hungry. Food, cost of living are so high. They are not addressing that issue. They would after the private presidential jet for now, new one. What happens to the old one? I mean, the one on ground. Why we have alternative? Why not make use of the alternative? See, we are up to because we are not.
Okay, sir. Your point is noted. We need to move on to the next. Please, when you call in, you have a minute, please. So you need to, try and round up very quickly. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, listen.
Sorry?
Yeah, please, good morning to your guest also.
Yes.
Please, I want to say something about this stuff, about the presidential flight, Now, we have used, in the past 11 months, we have spent over 14 billion naira to maintain an aircraft. Mm-hmm. And after that maintenance, we want to throw those ones we have maintained with 14 billion away in just 11 months to go and get a new one of over how much? $600 million, right? Well, I don't know, but I feel very sorry. I feel very, very sorry for myself, a Nigerian, and other Nigerians out there in few years to come, because the way we are going, I think these people, what they want to do is to make sure they do everything in order to make sure that this country is not habitable for us. That is where they are going to. And the present government does not care. It doesn't care. He actually said that it is his turn. And we have seen why he said that it is his turn. And those people that supported him, those people that were with him throughout last 2022, 2023, that said that was giving themselves false hope. I know most of them now are crying because the whole thing now is working between them.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll have to take our last caller because it's now 9:50. So we'll take our last caller for
Uncle Jimmy, good morning, sir.
Morning.
I greet your guest. My name is Silvanus Apurime, calling from Command Ikpaja.
Morning.
I think that OBJ scheme you were trying to remember is called a low profile.
Low profile. God bless you.
Yeah. Now,
God bless you. Low profile.
Yeah, thank you, Uncle. I just want to remind you of the Akwa Ibom youth couple who gave her father a standing ovation, a salute, when she came back from service. Because her father had a choice as to renovate her dilapidated house or to send this girl to school. He chose the later one and took this girl to school. So when this girl came, he gave the father a standing ovation, and this video went viral. What did the governor do? They had to give that man a 4-bedroom flat to compensate him for his wise decision. I think that is leadership. That is what we expect our leaders to do for us, to encourage us. But what we have now is unfortunate. It's very unfortunate.
Okay, we got to go. Your last thoughts on Captain Alex?
I think that this is a stain on the part of this administration. They've done a few good things, many good things, many good things, but it only takes one really stain to spoil a white cloth. And so I think we should deprioritize the acquisition of a presidential elector for the immediate present until we start to see economic benefits to the citizens. It's not just about the presidency.
But isn't it late now? It seems to be a done deal.
I don't know if it is. We haven't seen the evidence.
Well, if you've already put yours, if you have evidence that it's been put up for sale, then it's a done deal.
Well, it's a plan.
Oh, it's a plan.
Yes.
Your thoughts?
Yes. While I do not have any issues with having a presidential jet for the aircraft for the president, I think I have issues having a particular one for Mr. President and Mr. Vice President, and at this point in time when things are very difficult for us, we can at least buy one for now and then wait for the other. But before then, there's a problem with the presidential air fleet maintenance and management system, because if you are throwing a 13-year-old aircraft, out of your fleet, these are the aircraft that are supposed to do your international flight, and your president had to use a friend's jet to fly. There's something wrong with the management and processes in place, and if you do not address it through an audit, you probably put the new aircraft in the same problem as the ones that are leaving. Okay. So the broom that's beating the 13-year-old aircraft is actually waiting somewhere to be the new one.
Well, before the broom starts descending, I'm getting out of there. I'd like to thank the two of you for coming despite the weather. Also, I think one of you has a young wife who will be waiting patiently.
That's Dr. Alex, not me.
Do not throw your wife away to get another one.
It will only be due to pure maintenance.
That's where we'll draw the curtains for today. I'll be back. And Sheriff, thank you very much. I'm so grateful. That's where we'll draw the curtains for today. I'll be back tomorrow with Ochuko and I will do Dear Bumi. If those of you who know Ochuko will know that tomorrow will be a complete gas, in all honesty. I'd like to thank you all for listening. What's Up Lagos comes up next, so don't go away. Bye.
.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.